I think you just got to keep an eye on Garoppolo on the road. I think it's just got to be a mistake-free game for him.
Yeah.
That's been the one thing that's held down his grade, I think, is the random turnover-worthy play. He's not offsetting it with big-time throws. He never really has. But he's always been, on that. He's always been on the game manager's safe side, but with a ton of positively graded plays. He just hits the open man. They scheme it open for him. He does a nice job. This year, though, a little bit too many turnover-worthy plays. And at inopportune times, we've seen, too, in the red zone, some bad fumbles in there. So Garoppolo has to play fast and, work the scheme.
How's our financial plan coming?
Super! Chris, any advice?
With Western and Southern, preparing for your financial future can be easier than you think. Favorite receiver?
Huh?
To get started, visit westernsouthern.com.
And this should be a great game. San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. Back-to-back, ridiculously tough games for the Niners traveling across the country.
Yeah. And this
early game, right?
I don't know.
I think it's an early game.
It's the one thing missing in my giant sheet of
I know you put Sunday Night Football.
Right.
I mean, I know which games.
I know when they
are
were.
in prime time.
I don't know what.
I'm pretty sure it's an early game. So
Sunday it is.
Yeah.
This is fascinating to me because the Saints have been dealing with some offensive line injuries. Teron Armstead at left tackle.
1:00 game.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. They've had some injuries there, and now would be a bad time for them to still have injuries there because they're coming up against this 49ers defensive front that is nasty. Armstead was back at practice on Wednesday, may play. If he doesn't, that's going to be some problems because Nick Bosa is just wrecking people. If he puts Drew Brees under a tremendous amount of pressure, that's a huge swing in San Francisco's favor in this game.
Yeah, Nick Bosa has been fantastic. We've Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner on the interior, and Armstead's moved around, played on the edge a little bit. We talked about him on the midweek pod. So, yeah, that's the big difference in this 49ers defense this year is their ability to pressure the quarterback, but also cover extremely well on the back end. Brees is that guy, though, outside of one game where it's tough to put your finger on why he got sacked 5 times against the Falcons, but almost always. I mean, we've seen him, he played the Rams, Aaron Donald, a couple times last year, and they just do such a good job, whether it's play action to create space or the quick passing game to, just like Brady has done the same thing through the years, neutralize good pass rushers with the quick passing game. Brees is as good as it gets at doing the same thing. Yes,
they made the point on the Thanksgiving broadcast that Brees had told them that, he had to take it on himself to get the ball out of his hands faster. The offensive line isn't there. They're dealing with injuries. It's on me, right? I'm not going to expect my backup left tackle to hold up. I have to get rid of the ball. And on Thanksgiving, he averaged 2.18 seconds per pass.
It's so fast.
It's a tenth of a second faster than anybody else that week, every single pass. 2/3 of his dropbacks essentially came out in under 2.5 seconds. He genuinely did take it upon himself. He got rid of the ball quicker than anybody else in the NFL. Quicker than you see almost any single week. He would need to do that again this week if Teron Armstead isn't back. And honestly, even if Teron Armstead is back, given all the injuries he's had this year, he hasn't played at that level yet. Plus, they're down Andres Peter left guard. He's probably going to need to do that again if the 49ers defense is going to bring their pass rush.
So the interesting thing to me here, we talked about in New England, you take out Julian Edelman, right? I mean, would you do the same thing with Michael Thomas? He lines up in the slot, just straight up bracket him because Brees has only completed 6 passes at 20+ yards down the field. Mm-hmm. I would expect, it's one of those things he's capable, but I would rather take my chances having him throw the ball down the field over and over and over again. And there are a few games over the last couple of years where I felt like the Rams did it in the NFC Championship. Other teams have done it. To attack this cover 3 team, though, generally, the Seattle 3, you spread them, you outnumber them underneath, and you could pick them apart with the short passing game. The one thing that has stopped that, though, is when they start to come up and hit people. Like Jimmy Ward's coming up to hit people, and we've seen Jaquiski Tartt through the year. We've just seen them. The linebackers play really well. Do the Niners cheat up, take away the short stuff, and say, here, challenge Sherman down the field, challenge our big corners down the field. I would like to see if a team could really take away the short stuff from Brees he'll hit a few over the top, but do you just make this offense less efficient?
Probably.
Because right now he's, completing 75% of his passes or whatever it is.
Right. I mean, I think the danger with the replicating the sort of the game plan against the Patriots, double Michael Thomas, try and take that away and then force him everywhere else, is that I think they have better everywhere else.
Right.
Like, they don't have, Drew Brees doesn't have problems going to Jared Cook, going to Alvin Kamara to the backfield. They've got Ted Ginn, who's still dangerous down the field, even if he isn't that great. Like, they have weapons that he will take advantage of if you force him away from Michael Thomas. Now, so far, nobody's even been close to being able to take away Michael Thomas over the past couple of years. I'm sure you would make a dent on that, doubling, bracketing, all that kind of thing. But teams really haven't been able to slow him down at all. I do think that the Saints are better equipped to handle that kind of game plan than the Patriots are. But sure, I think that's probably the way to do it and at least force them to something else, particularly with Drew Brees so reluctant at the moment, or so just hasn't taken advantage of those deep shots this year the way he has in the past. You definitely need to force them to try and do some of that. It's always an interesting game plan, that idea, right? Let's take away the easy stuff and force them to do the difficult things, because inherently, if they actually, you're forcing them to adopt a game plan where if they actually manage to achieve it, it hurts you harder than anything else. It's like, we are going to force them into the high payoff plays and hope that they don't hit enough of them. The problem is, if they do, it's like touchdowns and huge plays and chunk plays, and those are the last thing you typically want to give up.
Yeah, Michael Thomas has only 9.2% of his targets have been into tight windows, second lowest in the NFL. So he's open.
Yeah.
Either with a step or more or whatever it is. And if you saw my nice tweet this week, powered by AWS, our friends over at Amazon Web Services, highest percentage of contested catches caught.
His number is insane.
He either gets open or he catches it when he's not open.
Right. He's catching like 88% of contested targets. The league leader is usually at like 65. He's like 20% better than the league leader in that stuff usually.
Yeah, so Michael Thomas has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Other side, I think you just got to keep an eye on Garoppolo on the road. I think it's just got to be a mistake-free game for him.
Yeah.
That's been the one thing that's held down his grade, I think, is the random turnover-worthy play. He's not offsetting it with big-time throws. He never really has. But he's always been, on that. He's always been on the game manager's safe side, but with a ton of positively graded plays. He just hits the open man. They scheme it open for him. He does a nice job. This year, though, a little bit too many turnover-worthy plays. And at inopportune times, we've seen, too, in the red zone, some bad fumbles in there. So Garoppolo has to play fast and, work the scheme.
I think the Saints defensive front needs to stand up big. Obviously everybody knows what the 49ers want to do on offense. I think the Saints defensive line can win to the point where they slow that up and cause problems. I don't know if they will or not. And then the other thing is, you've got George Kittle, who's one of the most uncoverable players in the NFL, and the Saints are missing half their linebackers.
Right.
So that becomes a problem as well.
Yeah, middle of the field. Marshawn Lattimore? Maybe go see Kittle?
I mean, maybe one of either the only linebacker they've got left, Demario Davis, or maybe you move a safety down. I don't know. That's why they pay other people those decisions. I'm just commenting.
Yeah, but just could be something.
I don't have the game plan.
Something to keep an eye on. Who are you going with in this one?
Went with the Saints.
Yeah, me as well.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.